Weight Watchers filed for bankruptcy in May 2025 with $1.5 billion in debt. The stock fell to 18 cents. Shareholders were wiped out, but Oprah Winfrey, she made $221 million. She bought her stake in 2015 for $43 million. By 2018, it was worth over $400 million. She started selling, and selling, and selling. Then in 2023, while still on the board, while still holding shares, she started taking Ozempic in secret. She went on camera and called these drugs the easy way out. She knew exactly what those drugs would do to the company she was invested in. When she finally admitted she was on the medication, she announced her exit from the board the same day. She donated her remaining shares. The stock crashed 27% overnight. Oprah got out. Everyone who followed her in got destroyed. But this isn't just an Oprah story. This is a system. Serena Williams promotes a $7 billion weight loss company. Her husband has been on the board since 2018. Dr. Oz spent a decade promoting health solutions on television. His company's biggest client is the maker of Ozempic. Now he runs Medicare. Matt Damon, Cindy Crawford, Charles Barkley, Kim Kardashian, all equity holders in health companies they endorse. We tracked every investment, every board seat, every undisclosed relationship. The question is never whether celebrities profit from their health advice. The question is only how. Let's start with Oprah, because the full timeline is even worse than you think. October 19, 2015. Oprah Winfrey announces she is taking a 10% stake in Weight Watchers. She is buying 6.4 million shares at $6.79 each. The total investment was $43.2 million. She also gets options to acquire another 5%, and she joins the board of directors. The stock doubled on announcement day. Doubled. In a single trading session. Wall Street understood immediately what Oprah's involvement meant. This was not just an endorsement deal. This was Oprah betting her own money, her own reputation, and her own platform on this company succeeding. And succeed it did, at least for a while. By July 2018, Weight Watchers shares hit $104. Oprah's initial $43 million investment was suddenly worth over $400 million on paper, a 1,400% return in less than 3 years. She started taking profits. In March 2018, she sold roughly 2 million shares at prices between $58 and $64 each. That single transaction netted her approximately $110 million. Between 2018 and 2021, she sold a cumulative 7.2 million shares for approximately $286 million in total. After subtracting her original purchase price and option exercise costs, Oprah's net profit from Weight Watchers was $221 million. Not her stake. Her profit. Cash in the bank. But she did not sell everything. She kept some shares. She stayed on the board. And then what the drugs? Sometime around mid-2023, Oprah started taking a GLP-1 medication, semaglutide, the same active ingredient in Ozempic and Wegovy. She did not tell anyone, not her audience, not her fellow board members, not the shareholders who had followed her into Weight Watchers because they believed in her vision. This was a secret. In September 2023, while secretly taking these drugs, she sat in front of a camera and said weight loss medications were the easy way out. That public line was striking, given what she knew. Think about what she knew at that moment. She knew the drugs worked. She was living proof. She was watching her own body transform while sitting in front of cameras, telling her audience that pharmaceutical weight loss was somehow cheating. She knew Weight Watchers' entire business model was built on behavioral change, meetings, accountability groups, and points systems. She had spent years promoting that model. She had made hundreds of millions of dollars from that model. And she knew that if a drug could deliver what Weight Watchers promised in a fraction of the time, the company was finished. She was still on the board. She was still holding shares, and she was publicly shaming the very solution she was privately using. She remained on the board. The conflict could not have been more direct, and the timing could not have been more calculated. The conflict was obvious. When she finally admitted to using weight loss medication in December 2023, it was not voluntary. Instagram photos had already sparked speculation about her dramatic transformation. She confirmed to People magazine that she was using a weight loss medication, without naming the specific drug. Then came the exit. February 28, 2024. Oprah announced she was leaving the Weight Watchers board. The same day, she announced she was donating her remaining 1.1 million shares to the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture. The company's own press release stated the move was intended to eliminate any perceived conflict of interest around her taking weight loss medications. Perceived conflict, as if the conflict was not obvious to anyone paying attention. That donation was valued at less than $3.5 million. Those same shares would have been worth over $100 million at the 2018 peak. Oprah donated them because they were nearly worthless, and because the donation gave her positive press coverage on her way out the door. The stock crashed, over 23% in regular trading, and another 27% after hours. Investors finally understood what we are explaining right now. The celebrity who had staked her credibility on Weight Watchers had abandoned ship, and she had been using the competition's product for months. By April 2025, Weight Watchers stock fell to 18 cents per share. 18 cents, down from $104. On May 6, 2025, the company filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy with approximately $1.5 billion in debt. Pre-bankruptcy shareholders were largely wiped out. Oprah made $221 million. The people who believed in her lost almost everything. But Oprah was not inventing this playbook. She was perfecting it. But before we talk about Dr. Mehmet Oz, like and subscribe to Celebrity Investments. Dr. Mehmet Oz spent more than a decade building his career on television health advice. The Dr. Oz Show launched in 2009 and ran until 2022. At its peak, the show attracted over 4 million viewers per episode. These were not casual watchers flipping through channels. These were people who scheduled their afternoons around his show. People who took notes. People who went to pharmacies and grocery stores and asked for exactly what Dr. Oz had recommended that day. The show made him one of the most influential voices in American health, and it made him very wealthy. What those viewers did not see was the financial architecture behind those recommendations. In 2010, Dr. Oz co-founded a company called ShareCare alongside Jeff Arnold, the founder of WebMD. ShareCare positioned itself as a digital health platform connecting consumers with health information and services. When ShareCare went public through a SPAC merger in July 2021, the company was valued at $3.9 billion. Dr. Oz's 2022 Senate campaign financial disclosure reported between $6 million and $26 million in ShareCare stock. That was his single largest healthcare holding. This is where it gets interesting. Novo Nordisk, the company that makes Ozempic and Wegovy, was a paying client of ShareCare. This has been confirmed by multiple credible outlets, including Yahoo Finance. ShareCare's business serves life sciences companies, health plans, and employers. The pharmaceutical relationship was structurally significant. Trace the money with us. Novo Nordisk pays ShareCare for marketing and distribution services. Dr. Oz owns a significant stake in ShareCare. Dr. Oz promotes weight loss and health optimization to millions of viewers every day. Viewers become interested in solutions. They engage with platforms like ShareCare. Novo Nordisk benefits. Sharecare benefits. Dr. Oz benefits. Nobody broke any laws. Every piece of this was technically disclosed somewhere in some filing. But how many viewers watching Dr. Oz discuss weight management knew that his personal financial interest was directly tied to the pharmaceutical companies making these drugs? Almost none. Then the story gets wilder. On April 3rd, 2025, Dr. Oz was confirmed as administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. This is not a minor government position. CMS controls over $1 trillion in annual healthcare spending. It is the agency that decides which drugs and treatments Medicare and Medicaid will cover. That means the man who spent years building personal wealth by promoting health solutions on television now sits in the government office that decides whether taxpayers subsidize those exact solutions. His first major GLP-1 decision came one day after confirmation. On April 4, 2025, CMS dropped the Biden-era proposal to expand Medicare Part D coverage of GLP-1 drugs for obesity treatment. That decision effectively excluded approximately 7.5 million people from potential coverage. Senator Elizabeth Warren's March 2025 letter flagged that Oz still held up to $5 million in Sharecare stock at that time. He pledged to divest most holdings within 90 days of confirmation. Independent verification has been difficult. We are not suggesting corruption. We are pointing out that the system creates these situations by design. People move from private sector promotion to public sector regulation constantly. The financial interests they built in one role do not disappear when they take the other. Oprah monetized trust through direct investment. Dr. Oz monetized it through corporate relationships and then regulatory power. But the newest version of this playbook might be the cleanest example of how it actually works. Alexis Ohanian co-founded Reddit. He sold it to Condé Nast in 2006 and has since become one of the most prominent tech investors in America. His venture fund, 776, has backed companies across every sector. And one of those companies is Ro. Ohanian invested in Ro back in 2017 when it was still called Roman and focused primarily on men's health. He joined the board of directors in 2018. His fund participated in Ro's $500 million Series D round in March 2021. In February 2022, Ro raised an additional $150 million at a valuation of $7 billion. That figure was confirmed by Bloomberg. It remains Ro's last publicly reported valuation. Ro has expanded dramatically since then. The company now operates as one of the largest direct-to-consumer telehealth services in America. Their biggest growth driver right now is GLP-1 prescriptions. People go to Ro's website, complete an online consultation, and receive an Ozempic, Wegovy, or Zepbound prescription without visiting a physical doctor's office. In April 2025, Ro signed Charles Barkley as their first celebrity GLP-1 ambassador. The inaugural ad aired during NBA playoff coverage on TNT. Barkley had previously lost nearly 50 pounds on a GLP-1 medication, but regained most of the weight after supply shortages forced him off the drug. His stated goal with Ro was to lose 65 pounds. Then came the bigger name. On August 21, 2025, Ro announced Serena Williams as their global GLP-1 celebrity ambassador. Serena reported losing 31 pounds over approximately 8 months using Zepbound, manufactured by Eli Lilly, prescribed through Ro. By February 2026, she updated that figure to 34 pounds and added that her cholesterol had dropped 30%. On February 8, 2026, Ro aired its first Super Bowl commercial starring Serena Williams during Super Bowl 60 on NBC. The spot reached over 100 million viewers. It was professionally produced, emotionally resonant, and positioned Serena as living proof that these medications work. What the ad did not include was any disclosure that Serena's husband is an investor in Ro and sits on its board. None. Zero. 100 million people watched Serena Williams recommend a healthcare company, and not one of them was told that her family has a significant equity position in that company. Ro's official press releases do include a disclosure line about Ohanian's involvement, buried at the bottom, in the fine print. But the Super Bowl ad itself offered nothing. The FTC's endorsement guidelines, updated in June 2023, require that any material connection between an endorser and a company must be disclosed clearly and conspicuously in every endorsement communication. The FTC's own illustrative examples specifically cite a well-known professional tennis player discussing a medical procedure without disclosing financial ties as likely to be deceptive. That is not us interpreting the rules. That is the FTC anticipating exactly this scenario. And Ro ran their biggest ad of the year without following the guidance. The distinction matters. Ohanian's dual role as investor and board member means Williams has a direct financial interest in Ro's commercial success beyond standard endorsement compensation. When she recommends Ro to millions of viewers, she is not just sharing a personal opinion. She is driving customers to a business her family profits from. Ro's GLP-1 program charges $145 per month for membership plus medication costs, ranging from $149 per month for Wegovy pills to $449 per month for Zep-bound vials. Every new subscriber adds to Ro's revenue. Every revenue increase raises the value of Ohanian's stake. The incentive structure is permanent. And this pattern extends far beyond weight loss drugs. Once we started mapping the celebrity health endorsement landscape, the same structure appeared everywhere. Function Health is a premium blood testing service that offers comprehensive lab panels at $365 per year. The company raised a $298 million Series B in November 2025, led by Redpoint Ventures, valuing it at $2.5 billion. Matt Damon is a confirmed investor in both the Series A and Series B rounds. Pedro Pascal invested in the $53 million Series A in June 2024. The celebrity roster also includes Kevin Hart, Zac Efron, Magic Johnson, and numerous WNBA players. These are not just endorsers collecting a fee. They are equity holders whose personal wealth increases every time someone signs up. Novo offers radiation-free full-body MRI scans at approximately $2,500 per scan. Cindy Crawford and her husband Randa Gerber are confirmed investors, named in the company's $70 million Series A press release from October 2022. Other investors include Anne Wojcicki, the CEO of 23andMe, Tony Fadell, who created the iPod and Nest, and Eric Schmidt, former CEO of Google. Novo has raised approximately $275 million total and generated $100 million in revenue in 2024. Kim Kardashian promoted Novo on Instagram tagged "not an ad," despite receiving a complimentary scan. The line between customer, promoter, and investor has become completely blurred. Like and subscribe. We are trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, and your help gets us there. And then there is the outright deceptive end of the spectrum. Kourtney Kardashian's supplement brand. Lemme launched a product called GLP-1 Daily in September 2024, priced at $72 per month. The bottle says GLP-1 on the label. The marketing implies it works like the drugs we have been discussing, but it contains no actual GLP-1 medication. None. It is plant extracts and supplements with no proven efficacy for weight loss. In February 2025, a class action lawsuit was filed alleging false advertising. The complaint argues that consumers were deceived into thinking they were purchasing a GLP-1 drug when they were actually buying an unproven supplement. That is where this model leads when there are no guardrails. If celebrities can profit from investing in legitimate drug platforms, why not just sell supplements that sound like drugs, but are not regulated like them? Celebrity endorsements demonstrably move the market. Serena Williams' Roe announcement drove a 27% increase in weight loss drug appointment requests. Oprah's GLP-1 disclosure caused an 18% spike. Whoopi Goldberg produced a 29% jump. The financial incentives for celebrity investment plus endorsement arrangements will only intensify, because this market is growing faster than almost anything in healthcare. The GLP-1 market hit $63 billion in 2025 and is projected to surpass $200 billion by 2033. That is more than tripling in 8 years. The obesity-specific segment is growing fastest at 23% compound annual growth rate. To put that in perspective, this single drug category will soon be larger than the entire global video game industry. Every pharmaceutical company, every telehealth startup, every health tech investor is scrambling to position themselves in this market. The competition for market share is brutal, and with stakes this high, the value of celebrity endorsements has never been greater. A single Instagram post from the right person can drive millions in revenue overnight. A Super Bowl commercial with a trusted face can reshape an entire company's trajectory. That's why the celebrity investor endorser model isn't going away. It's accelerating. Meanwhile, the companies and investors who positioned badly have been destroyed. Novo Nordisk stock hit an all-time high of $142.44 on June 25, 2024. As of mid-February 2026, it trades around $49. That is a decline of approximately 66%. The collapse unfolded across several catalysts. Disappointing CagriSema trial results in December 2024 sent the stock down 19% in a single day. Slashed guidance for 2025, announced in July 2025, produced the worst single-day drop on record at roughly 20%. Failed Alzheimer's trials followed in November 2025. Eli Lilly has become the dominant GLP-1 player, capturing 58% of the injectable market by the third quarter of 2025. Lilly's stock rose approximately 42% in 2025, briefly touching a $1 trillion market capitalization. Mounjaro generated $7.4 billion in the fourth quarter of 2025 alone. Zepbound added $4.2 billion. The telehealth GLP-1 boom created its own casualties. Hims & Hers stock soared to roughly $70 in mid-2025, then cratered to approximately $16 by February 2026, after the FDA declared the semaglutide shortage over and a Novo Nordisk partnership collapsed. Three dynamics define what we've shown you and deserve emphasis. First, the timing pattern is consistent across every celebrity we investigated. They invest at low valuations, then leverage their platforms to drive consumer adoption, generating returns that dwarf their endorsement fees. Oprah's $43 million became $221 million before the company collapsed. Ohanian invested in Roe in 2017. By 2022, it was valued at $7 billion. His wife became the face of their biggest product category 3 years later. Second, regulatory authority and financial interest now overlap directly. Dr. Oz controls Medicare drug coverage decisions, while his historical financial entanglements with Sharecare, pharmaceutical manufacturers, and the broader health ecosystem remain incompletely resolved. Regulatory conflicts change incentives. Third, The FTC disclosure framework is structurally inadequate for the celebrity investor endorser model. Press release footnotes do not satisfy clear and conspicuous requirements when 100 million Super Bowl viewers never see them. Disclosure. Failures matter. This is not going to change on its own. The financial incentives are too strong to ignore. As long as celebrities can generate returns that dwarf their endorsement fees by taking equity positions in companies they then promote, they will keep doing it. As long as regulators move between private sector promotion and public sector oversight, the revolving door will keep spinning. As long as disclosure requirements allow buried footnotes to substitute for real transparency, viewers will keep being deceived. The next time you see a celebrity talking about their health routine, their weight loss journey, their diagnostic tests, or their wellness supplements, remember what we showed you today. Remember who profits. Oprah made $221 million while her followers lost everything. Serena Williams endorses a company her husband profits from. Dr. Oz controls Medicare after building wealth from the industry he now regulates. Matt Damon and Cindy Crawford hold equity in health companies they publicly recommend. Kourtney Kardashian sells fake GLP-1 supplements to people who do not know the difference. There is always a structure. There is always a financial relationship. The architecture might be different in each case. Sometimes it is direct equity. Sometimes it is board positions. Sometimes it is family investments that create indirect benefit. But it is always there. The question is never whether they are making money from what they recommend. The question is only how. And if you want to see how another celebrity built a hidden empire, that video is on screen now. Like and subscribe, and help us on the way to 1,000 subscribers.